What's poppin'? My name is Richie, and today we're gonna do 5 things that we could see next season for Fortnite Creative. These things are just not like things that I just came up with and these are like just randomly picked up. These are like the most requested things, and also I went back all the way to like last year where Fortnite Creative was actually holding like AMAs where they answered questions on certain things that we could get in Creative. Before we start, there's one thing which I really want to say, and that is that update 15.0, which is like season 5 obviously will not have a big creative update. Brown Lantern on the Discord of the creative Discord already said that there's not going to be anything very big for creative, but the update 15.10 will be a very big update or something that we are looking for or have to look for. So that could also align with the Game Show Awards, which is like very interesting. So yeah, let's go into it. Okay, starting with number 1, we actually have the supported creator code opening back up. So this one is most likely going to happen next season. The reason for that is there's so many rumors around and like old moderators from the Discord saying that they're working on this already and it's like almost done. Also, the biggest giveaway that they're gonna release this very soon is that the actually official Fortnite status Twitter replied to a person who asked if they're gonna reopen the supported creator program soon, and they replied with yes soon, and then also but that is obviously a very good sign that they're gonna have it like in a soonish times phase, which is obviously like they said soon so many times, and like soon really doesn't mean too much in Fortnite anymore. So the reopening of the supported creator program is obviously something very big, especially for map makers, because as you guys know that you sadly only can publish maps or get a code for maps if you are part of the supported creator program, which is limited to 1,000 subscribers on any given platform. So since you know that it's going to happen probably very soon, you should start working on getting your social medias up. Hopefully they maybe like decrease the amount of, or they even have a completely different system now for publishing maps, which would be super awesome. Okay, number 2 is the terrain editor. I know this is probably the most requested thing that people are asking for years actually, and let me read you guys what they told in the Ask Me Anything 1 year ago on Twitter. So the question was, will we get an advanced terrain editor? And the answer to it was, we have terrain editing on the list of tools we want to build. Ahead of it are better content browsing and undo and redo. It's going to be some time before we get to it. But keep in mind, this was obviously 1 year ago. So as we guys know that we technically already got the better content browsing, and we also got the undo and redo option, if you want to say so, right? So we got it for props, not really for like full maps and like stuff that we destroyed and save options like that, but we technically got it. But I think it's a good sign that we're technically on the side where this is like the next step on their lists. If that is reality that we're gonna get next season, probably not. It will probably like have leaked, or like there would probably some like testing features or something which I haven't seen at all. So if you're gonna get a terrain editor, it's probably not going to be next season, like at the beginning. Okay, number 3 will be different camera placements. So what I mean by that is a third-person mode, a first-person mode, bird's eye view, all these kinds of things. So we can have different camera angles on the game modes. Obviously, there's glitches and like bugs you can say on how to make first-person game modes, but there's not really anything beyond that. And even the first-person game modes are only available in like this weird shape or form where you can like, it is a bug technically, so it's not really a game mode that is in Fortnite. So the closest thing that I found on the Reddit AMA was this question here: is there a way to allow us to save placements of free camera so that we can leave a map and when we return it will be in the same spot? If not, is it possible for it to list coordinates of camera placements and zooms so that we can recreate exact scenes? And the answer of that was, we have a few designs of different camera devices and screenshot tools. Generally, yes, it is something we are thinking about. Could you explain more about how you would use it and what the player experience would be? So the cool thing about this is that we already got one of the things that they mentioned in this post here, which is the screenshot tool, because we have that already. There's like a photo tool which you can use in Fortnite Creative to create thumbnails for your maps, so you can use them in matchmaking devices or like whatever comes in the future. But what we don't have is a proper like camera mode in Fortnite. And I think even with the recent like glitches that people found with the first person mode, and it even got featured multiple times, I think that that is probably on the list of Fortnite, because they probably don't want that people are just using glitches for first person mode. So they're probably going to implement maybe in the future a system where we can actually enter first person mode without having to glitch and having this weird like crosshair glitch where you cannot really build. So I think that is something that is like probably on the list, and they're probably very aware that something like this is needed. Okay, number 4 on the list is island merging. And if you don't know what that means, it basically means merging 2 islands that you have and put them together. So that technically means if you have one grid island or whatever, you build your first part of the map on there, and then you can have a portal to the next one, which is built on another one. The reason why that is helpful or good is because obviously islands have like a limit of 100k memory, and if you obviously would have 2 maps, you can kind of merge them together and have technically 200k, even though they're built on different islands. And on Reddit they had a question like this: is it possible to add place-able rifts to islands that could lead to other islands? This way people can create games that span over multiple levels/islands. And the answer to that was yes, we're working on this. We need to allow players to travel between servers to allow this to work for real, so it's taking extra time. Technically, you can now do this with the matchmaking devices. Obviously, since the matchmaking devices are not available for everyone yet, and matchmaking devices are like also not like direct path to new island. I wouldn't say that this like exact this future that the person asked for, but it's very close to it. If they want to work on something else, or if they're gonna leave it for the matchmaking devices to be like this kind of portal to your next step of the island or whatever, I would probably think that they're not gonna do something extra or different to all of this matchmaking in between island stuff. Because they already have a system that works, and they're probably just going to fine-tune the matchmaking devices to make them work more flawlessly, work more precisely, and a little bit better than they work now, because they still have bugs, and obviously it's not perfect by any means, but it's a very good thing to do. So what they could do is probably with the next season they could actually release the matchmaking devices for everyone, so or they have a different system in them, because matchmaking devices still need codes to actually work. So you need one code of the one island and the code from the other islands to move in between them. So that is obviously not something that is available for everyone. So if they would have a different system, or if they would have like just rifts that spawn in between islands, that would be obviously something very cool and something that I'm looking forward to. Is it realistic that we're going to get it next season? Probably not. Okay, for number 5, we're going to have 4 different ones because they all have very short answers, but I think they all are very cool things that we really need in Fortnite Creative. So the number 1 is NPCs and dialogue systems. Number 2 is a weather device. Number 3 is if the followers still stay 1000 if the supported creator code gets enabled again. And the last one is, will there ever be a browser system in Fortnite Creative? Okay, so let me quickly give you guys the answers. So the first 2 answers are NPCs and dialogue systems is in plan, and weather options are in plan 2. So he also explains that in plan means it's on the list, it's unclear exactly when we will get to it, and you're all upvoting and saying which things are the most important helps us prioritize the work. So that basically means, yeah, they're looking into it, and if one of these things gets a lot of like upvotes, and obviously a lot of people want these, like ask the same questions for this, obviously it's very likely that it gets up the list. The thing is though, these are all like from 1 year ago, so technically it does mean that they were too high, because obviously then that would be a little bit earlier implemented. Especially the weather options is something that I saw a lot of people want, but it's still not in the game yet, right? The only thing that we have for weather is actually changing the night and daytime and the time technically. Obviously there are a few filters, which is nice, but there's not really a weather option. It's not snowing, it's not raining or whatever. So that would be something that would be super cool. Also the NPCs and dialogue systems, I'm not sure at which point this was, but we obviously got the hot message device, which is something that is close to it. But I think that is something that they kind of put back, like they don't want to talk about it anymore, because I think having NPCs is a very tough thing to do. But I think especially for the NPCs and the dialogue system, for the dialogue system, I'm pretty sure that they kind of like say no to it, because people can already create very good dialogues in game with like billboards and hot message devices and stuff like that. So they probably took that a little bit like aside. For the NPCs though, it would be super cool if we get something like this, because there's like not anything that really works with the player, like interacts with the player. Yes, there's zombies, but zombies are not really like NPCs, you can say. They're just like dumb things you shoot. But something that actually walks and follows commands that the player gives the NPC would be super awesome to see. And also there are 2 other things. Obviously the 1000 follower thing is we improve clarity on how to get into the supported creator account for creators. So if you're not aware, you don't really need 1000 followers if an Epic employee sees that you are very talented at creating stuff on Twitter, on Reddit, or whatever, they kind of give you the code. At least they did it back in the days. Not sure if they still want to do this after like the whole revamp of the thing. But it's not the only option to get in there, right? So a lot of people actually don't have 1,000 followers, which are one of your favorite map creators. They don't have 1,000 followers. But they got in there because a person from Epic saw them on Reddit, saw them on Twitter, whatever, and they contacted them and say, hey, you want to be part of the program? And then you just have to give your email or whatever, and then you get into the program without having 1,000 followers. So that's probably the thing that they're going to continue doing. And for the last one, which they said, like, will there be a browsing system? And I think that is actually done already. Like, they don't gonna do this like very soon because they already did this hub, which is like kind of like a browsing system. I know creators hate this hub, but for players it's actually pretty good. You're gonna see the best maps and the most played maps and like very upcoming maps. So for players, this is actually like a very good map. For creators, it's like pushing more the maps that are like more popular, which is like kind of unfortunate because like smaller creators like get kind of buried into that. But generally for players, this is a lot better. So a browsing system is probably not going to be anything that we're going to see very soon with this new hub being released and the matchmaking device. But maybe the new hub is just a test to actually test how this works and how the new browsing system can work. And also one thing on the final note, I know weapon customizer would be on your list as well, but a weapon customizer is so unlikely to happen because of the whole BR stuff, and it would probably like need a whole revamp of the Fortnite creative system because they're kind of linked together. So the BR stuff and the creative stuff are all linked together. They always have the same patch notes. So if a weapon in BR gets nerfed, the same weapon gets nerfed in Fortnite creative. So that is kind of unfortunate that this system is in place. So they will probably have to do a whole revamp. I'm not sure if there's going to be in season 5, season 6, or maybe even like in the next chapter from now on. But I wouldn't like get yourself into like this option that we're going to get at the next patch or something. So I would calm down on that. But other than that, what of these things would you like to see the most and which system you want to see? And with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you could learn something from this or get some new information. And obviously leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys back in the next video or stream. Bye.